Okay, hello, Internet. My teacher, Tommy, hey Tommy, if you're watching this, told me that we had to record our speeches. So that's what I'm doing right now. So you're not going to be able to see the PowerPoint, but I can, and it's going to be time. So this is how J.K. Rowling changed the world. So you hear the quote, one person can change the world. And if you're anything like me, you think it's just a cliche, like, just kind of brush it off, like go in one ear and out the other and not really give it a second thought, because how could one person affect the 7 billion other people on the planet? Like, there's no way. But then you think about it and it's like, well, Steve Jobs did that with all of his Apple products. I mean, it changed how we communicate with each other on a daily basis. And his ideas revolutionized communication. And then you have someone like Elvis Presley, who changed music and the whole music industry. I mean, he was the king of rock and roll. I mean, his stage presence was like something they hadn't seen before. Like, performers would just go out and sing on stage. They wouldn't put on a show until him. And then you have all the celebrities these days, like Angelina Jolie, who has all these great causes that she puts out there, and you hear all like the St. Jude commercials, like Robin Williams and Jennifer Aniston, like, this is for a cure for the kids. And you think, what do all of these people have in common? Yes, they're trying to change the world, but they're doing it through media, through digital media, which I have to agree, technology is probably the single most important thing in our lives. And how could someone even think about going to change the world without it, with just pen and paper? Like, there's no way that someone could possibly do something like that. And then you have someone like J.K. Rowling now. She didn't go out to change the world, but she did, with just her written works. See, before J.K. Rowling, there were children's books, and they weren't really popular. Children's genre, not the bestseller list on anybody's terms. And same with the young adult genre. Like, no one really thought about it. It existed, but no one really cared about it. If there were children's books, like If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, or Where the Wild Things Are, or even The Giving Tree, they were picture books, and they were short, and it wasn't anything mind-blowing at all. Or, children's books, if bookstores had to stock something, it had like a TV movie tie-in, like a Disney book, or like The Rainbow Fish, or like the Arthur series from when we were kids. And before J.K. Rowling, people were kind of turned off to reading. I mean, new technology was forming, books were kind of the thing of the past, and teenagers were now getting into like television shows and computers that were just coming out, and no one really cared about that. But in 1999, there was a publication boom. And this happened the year that the third Harry Potter book was published, so the first and second had already been out for a while. And people had started to talk about it, which was weird. Like, it normally didn't happen that way. And if you look at J.K. Rowling's publication span, it ranges from 1997 to 2007. A 10-year span. That is unheard of, especially for something in a children's genre. Now, that doesn't exactly happen. And something else that doesn't happen is a midnight book release. Now, there's a picture here that looks like something you would see on Black Friday, like people lined up and ready to barge into a store to get those shoes, or, get that movie, or maybe all these people are lined up for the new Batman movie. But they weren't lined up to be like, yeah, let's go read a book. It was completely unheard of until J.K. Rowling came around and changed the course of literature. She turned an entire generation into avid readers. Now, it can be completely argued that without J.K. Rowling to pave the way to make a young adult series popular, books like The Hunger Games and, even Twilight wouldn't have been as successful as they are today without J.K. Rowling and her way of literature. People, when they were growing up, they wouldn't be like, yeah, I want to write for young adults, because teenagers don't. We didn't really read books back then, but now, because of the Harry Potter series, who brought the children and the adult genre together to mesh into a young adult series, J.K. Rowling helped change the world. I mean, people turned away from their laptops and computers and TV to pick up a book, and she's still doing it today. She came out with this thing called Pottermore, which is a digital interactive online book, which has never been done before. So even today, she's still changing literature. It's where fans can go in and play games and unlock exclusive unpublished content about backstories of characters or explanations of why she named someone this way or why she did something in her wildly popular series, which is also just completely unheard of. And something else that had never occurred to anyone was basing an entire theme park, like Disney or something, off of a book. But in Orlando, Florida, you can believe there's Wizarding World of Harry Potter, which is based off of what J.K. Rowling did with just a pen and a paper in her hand. I mean, she's changed that for so many people. Not just publication, now so many people have jobs because of her and maybe want to write or edit books, and she brought old and young together in a way that has never been seen before, which is really impressive considering she didn't even go out to change the world. She went out to tell a story because she had a simple idea of a boy who didn't know he was a wizard going to a magic school. And that is why one person can just change the world. Because while she was writing this, she was a recently divorced, single, depressed, unemployed mother who barely had a penny to her name, and she could come up with a series so wonderful that she actually did it. So next time you hear a quote saying, one person can change the world, you can actually kind of believe it instead of just shrugging your shoulders, and just know that no matter who you are, you can make a difference. And that is how she changed the world. The end. Yay! And now we're gonna stop this.
How long was yours?
7